Do you ever get mail that isn't meant for you? That's how it started. Just a small cardboard box sitting on my porch one rainy Thursday morning. No name, no sender, no return address. I almost didn't bring it inside. I thought it might have been delivered to the wrong house. But when I looked closer, I saw my address written in black marker, and underneath it in small faded letters my wife's name. The thing is, my wife's been dead for 7 months. I live in a quiet town just outside Portland, Oregon. Nothing ever happens here. My neighbors are retired. My mail's usually bills or grocery coupons. So when I found a damp hand-delivered package with no shipping label, my stomach twisted. It didn't feel right. The handwriting looked shaky, almost frantic. I brought it into the kitchen, left it on the counter, and made coffee. I told myself not to open it. Maybe it was a scam, maybe some creepy coincidence. But curiosity's a strange thing. It's louder than fear sometimes. The box wasn't taped, just folded shut. Inside was a VHS tape wrapped in old newspaper. On the tape, in black marker, it said, "Your wife, last night." My coffee went cold in my hand. Now, before you think I'm crazy, I know my wife is gone. I saw her in the hospital. I buried her. I held the death certificate. Cancer took her slow and mean. There was no way this could be real. But seeing that label, those words, it felt like my chest collapsed. I don't even own a VHS player anymore. Not since 2005, but my neighbor Greg, he's got one. He's a collector, kind of a vintage tech geek. I called him that afternoon. He didn't pick up. So I did something I shouldn't have. I went into the attic. My wife Marie used to keep all our old stuff up there. The wedding tapes, Christmas videos, even her college projects. And sure enough, buried under a box of decorations, I found our old Panasonic VCR, dusty and cracked but still intact. I set it up in the living room. The machine whirred to life, that old mechanical hum filling the silence. I hesitated for a moment, my finger hovering over play. I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe an old home video someone found, maybe a cruel prank. But what I saw wasn't possible. The screen flickered, static washed over the room, and then Marie appeared. She was in our bedroom, the same wallpaper, the same bedspread. Her hair was longer though, like how she used to wear it before the chemo. She was pacing, barefoot, wearing her favorite blue nightgown. She looked alive. My throat tightened. The footage was grainy but clear enough to recognize her movements, her nervous little gestures. She kept glancing toward the window, whispering something I couldn't make out. The camera angle didn't move, and it was fixed on a tripod, facing the bed. I leaned closer. After about 2 minutes, she stopped pacing. Slowly, she turned toward the camera. Her face was pale, her eyes tired, but there was something else. A fear I'd never seen before. And then, she said it. "He's coming back for me, and for you." The tape cut to static. I sat there frozen. The VCR clicked softly, the tape spinning back into silence. I didn't breathe for what felt like minutes. I replayed it again, and again. The same thing. No edits, no tricks. Just her, pacing, whispering, warning. The next thing I noticed made my blood run cold. In the last few seconds, right before the tape cuts, behind her near the window, there's a shape. A dark, tall outline, just for a frame or two. Like someone standing outside, watching. I hit pause, zoomed in. The figure's face is blurred by static, but I swear I saw eyes. That night I didn't sleep. I left the living room lights on, the tape still inside the VCR. Every creak, every gust of wind outside sounded like footsteps on the porch. At 2:43 a.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I stared at the screen until it stopped ringing. Then it buzzed again. Same number. Finally, I answered. Static. Then a faint whispering voice. "Did you watch it?" My heart slammed. "Who is this?" Silence. Then, the same voice. Softer this time. "She told you, didn't she?" I hung up. The phone rang again. I didn't pick up. I couldn't. And that's when I noticed something even worse. something I hadn't seen before. The VHS tape, the label that had said, "Your wife, last night," was gone. Someone had replaced it with new handwriting. Now it said, "Next time, you." I didn't sleep that night. Every shadow in the room seemed alive, every sound felt directed at me. The phone didn't ring again, but I couldn't stop staring at it, half expecting another whisper to crawl through the speaker. By sunrise, my nerves were shot. The tape sat inside the VCR like something venomous. I didn't touch it, didn't rewind it, didn't even look at it. Instead, I called the police. The officer on the phone sounded half asleep. I told him everything, the package, the tape, the voice on the phone. He asked if I still had the evidence. When I said yes, he paused. "Sir, is it possible this is some kind of grief reaction?" That hit hard. "No," I said too fast. "This was real. The tape. She was alive." The silence on the other end was unbearable. Finally, he sighed and told me to bring it in, so I did. The station smelled like old coffee and printer ink. Officer Grant met me at the front desk, a stocky guy in his 40s with kind eyes that already looked like they didn't believe me. He took the VHS carefully, gloved hands and all, and asked if I could describe the handwriting on the label. Twice, I said. It changed. The first one said, "Your wife, last night." The second said, "Next time, you." That got his attention. He glanced at the label, then back at me. "So someone broke into your house to change this?" "I didn't hear anything," I admitted. "But it's different." He nodded, clearly trying to stay polite. "We'll have forensics take a look. We can call you when we find anything." He didn't say it, but I could hear it in his tone. He thought I was losing my mind. That night, the house felt heavier, like the air itself was thicker. I kept the hallway light on, the front door double locked. Around 10 p.m., I poured myself a drink, something to quiet the noise in my head. That's when I heard it. A faint click from the living room. Not loud, just mechanical. I walked in slowly, glass trembling in my hand. The old VCR was on again, its red power light glowing in the dark. I hadn't touched it since I got back from the station. The TV flickered. The screen showed static for a few seconds, then cut to black. Then Marie, again. Same room, same nightgown. But this time she was sitting on the bed facing the camera. Her eyes looked darker now, deeper, like something hollowed her out from the inside. "Daniel," she whispered. My knees nearly gave out. My name. She'd never said my name before on the last tape. "Please listen, he's closer now, he's watching you." Her voice cracked. "Don't." The image distorted, her face twisting in digital blur, and for a split second, I saw something move behind her again, the same dark shape. It leaned forward into the light. The screen went black. And then, without warning, a new image flashed, just for a second. It was my living room, the same couch I was standing next to, the same lamp, the same VCR. Only difference was, someone was sitting in my chair. I turned instantly. Empty. The TV shut off. The room went quiet again, except for my heartbeat pounding like it wanted out of my chest. I called Officer Grant. He didn't answer. I left a voicemail that was half words, half panic. It played again. There's another one, it showed my house, someone's watching me. I didn't stay in that room. I grabbed my keys and drove straight to Greg's place next door. He's the kind of guy who never locks his door, always up late tinkering with old electronics. Tonight, though, the lights were off. I knocked. No answer. Then I noticed the faint flicker through his curtains, static light like a TV with no signal. I pushed the door open. The smell hit first, burnt metal and something sour. The living room was dark except for the TV screen glowing gray and white. Greg was sitting in front of it, frozen, eyes wide open, face pale. The VHS player on his table was running. The tape inside was labeled, "Your neighbor, last night." I stumbled backward, slamming into the wall. Greg didn't blink, didn't breathe. Then the TV flickered again, and for the briefest moment the camera feed shifted. It showed me. Standing in his doorway, and then, in the corner of the screen, behind my shoulder, a shape moved. A tall, thin figure, almost touching the ceiling, standing so close I should have felt its breath. The power cut out. The screen went black. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I just ran. Out the front door, down the street, into the freezing night air. When I finally dared to look back, Greg's TV was still flickering through the window. And for one brief moment, through the static, I saw my wife again, smiling this time. When the sun came up, I was still sitting in my car at the edge of town. I don't remember driving there, I just remember running, headlights cutting through the fog, my heart hammering against my ribs like it wanted out. I waited until daylight before going back. Greg's house looked the same as when I'd fled, quiet still, blinds shut. I knocked once, twice. No answer. The air felt wrong, thick, like it was holding its breath. When I finally stepped inside, the TV was off. The VCR was empty. Greg was gone. I called his name, searched every room, checked the backyard. Nothing. His car was still in the driveway, keys on the counter, wallet untouched. It didn't make sense. The whole place smelled like cold metal and old rain. Then I saw it, on the coffee table where the VHS player sat. A small cardboard box, same size as the one that showed up on my porch. No return address, no name, just black marker writing. Don't ignore her. I didn't touch it. I backed away, my skin crawling. I drove home, shaking so badly I could barely turn the wheel. Every bump in the road sounded like footsteps on the roof of my car. When I pulled into my driveway, there was another box waiting. Same handwriting, same faded ink. But this one wasn't sealed. The top was already open, like whoever left it wanted me to look. Inside, wrapped in old newspaper, was a VHS tape. On it, written in that same jittery handwriting, "Your wife, tonight." I almost dropped it. I told myself not to play it. Not again. But the fear and curiosity twisted together until I couldn't tell the difference anymore. I went inside, shut every curtain, locked every door, and slid the tape into the VCR. The screen flickered alive. Marie again. But this time, she wasn't alone. She was sitting on the edge of the bed, her head in her hands. The lighting was darker, the air in the footage somehow thicker, like the room itself was suffocating. Behind her, in the corner near the closet door, that same tall shape lingered, not moving, just watching. Then Marie looked up, straight into the camera. Her eyes were red, but she wasn't crying. She smiled, a slow, shaking smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Daniel," she whispered, "you shouldn't have watched." I tried to stop the tape, but the remote didn't work. The buttons on the VCR didn't either. The video kept playing on its own. Marie stood up, her movements slow, unnatural, like she was fighting against something pulling her. The shape in the corner grew darker, its outline stretching, filling more of the frame. "Please," she said softly, "don't answer the door tonight." The video cut to static. I froze. As if on cue, there was a knock. One soft, deliberate knock at the front door. I sat completely still, eyes locked on the hallway. Another knock, louder this time. My throat went dry. I didn't move. The third knock rattled the glass. I forced myself to stand, legs shaking. I peeked through the peephole. Nothing. No one there. Just rain falling under the porch light. But when I stepped back, I realized something was off. The porch light wasn't on when I came home. And worse, the VCR was still running. The static on the screen shifted for just a second, showing the front door. My front door. From outside. I stumbled backward, watching the image. The view moved. Slow, unsteady, like someone holding the camera was walking closer to the house. Closer to the door. The tape was showing right now. The knocking started again, louder, faster, then a low, scraping sound like fingernails dragging down the wood. I shouted, "Who's there?" The knocking stopped. For a few seconds, silence filled the house. Then a faint voice came through the door, muffled, trembling. "Danny, it's me." My blood ran cold. It was Marie's voice. "Please," she whispered. "I'm cold. Let me in." I pressed my back against the wall, heart slamming. The voice grew closer, right against the wood. "Don't make me wait outside." The doorknob started to turn, slow, careful. I hadn't unlocked it. I know I hadn't. The VCR clicked. The static faded, replaced by the same image, my front door now opening. But from inside the TV, I turned toward the actual door. It was still shut, locked tight. But the screen showed it wide open, rain falling, and something stepping inside. Tall, thin. Its movements jerky, wrong. Marie was standing behind it, smiling through the static. Then for the first time, I heard her voice through the TV instead of the door. "He's here now." The picture froze. The lights in the house flickered. And for one horrifying second, I saw a reflection in the TV glass. Not mine, but a pale, long face standing directly behind me. I turned around. Nothing. But on the carpet right where I'd been standing, there were wet footprints. Small. Bare. Marie's size. The tape ended with static. James sat frozen on the couch, sweat dripping down his neck. The faint hum of the old VHS player was the only sound left in the room. He wanted to move, wanted to get up, turn on every light in the house and call someone, but his body wouldn't obey. Then came the knock. 3 slow, deliberate taps on the front door. James's breath caught in his throat. He didn't move. The knock came again, louder this time. The sound echoed through the quiet house. He rose shakily, grabbing the nearest thing he could find, a fireplace poker, and walked to the door. His fingers trembled as he reached for the handle. "Who's there?" he called, voice cracking. No answer. He leaned closer, squinting through the peephole, and froze. Standing on his porch was Lisa. She looked exactly as she had in the video, same nightgown, same hair falling around her face. But her eyes were wrong, too dark, too deep, like they weren't eyes at all, just holes leading somewhere endless. "Lisa," he whispered. She smiled faintly. "You saw it, didn't you?" James stumbled back from the door, heart hammering. "You're dead. I buried you. This can't be real." She tilted her head slightly. "You buried something. But it wasn't me." The front door creaked open by itself. A cold wind swept through the room, carrying the faint scent of dirt and rain. The lights flickered. Lisa stepped inside. Her bare feet left wet prints on the hardwood floor, even though it hadn't rained in days. James backed up toward the living room. "Stay away from me." She took another step. "He's coming, James. You shouldn't have watched the tape." He lifted the poker, hands shaking violently. "Who's coming?" Before she could answer, the old TV crackled to life again. The static gave way to an image, grainy and dark. The same bedroom appeared on screen. Only this time, it was live. James saw himself on the screen, standing right where he was, facing Lisa. Then behind him on the TV, something moved. A tall, thin shape began to crawl out from the shadows behind his on-screen self. Its limbs were too long, its face hidden behind a veil of darkness that seemed to suck the light around it. Lisa's voice grew softer, almost a whisper. "He followed me from the tape. He never leaves unfinished business." James turned around slowly. At first he saw nothing, just the flickering light of the TV and Lisa's motionless figure. Then he heard it, the sound of something dragging across the floorboards. A shape began to emerge from the hallway, bending and unfolding like a spider made of shadows. Its fingers scraped along the walls, leaving black streaks that oozed and dripped like ink. James swung the poker with all his strength, but the metal passed straight through the creature as if it were smoke. It didn't even slow down. Lisa backed away toward the TV. "He came for me that night," she said, her voice trembling. "And now he's here for you." The creature's hand reached out, long, skeletal, dripping with darkness, and touched James's shoulder. Instantly, everything went black. When James opened his eyes, he was standing in a dimly lit room. The air was thick and stale. The wallpaper was peeling. The smell of mold and decay filled his nose. He looked around and froze. It was his living room, but different, older, faded. The TV sat in the corner, still playing static. On the couch sat Lisa, her face pale and lifeless, eyes staring blankly at the screen. James stepped closer, whispering her name. Her head turned slowly toward him. Her mouth opened, but instead of words, a deep, distorted voice filled the air. "You watched. Now you belong." The static from the TV grew louder, drowning everything else out. The screen flickered, and then James saw himself again, sitting motionless on the couch beside her. He tried to scream, but no sound came out. The darkness surged forward like a wave, swallowing him whole. The next morning, the mailman stopped at the house. He noticed the front door was slightly ajar. He hesitated, then set a small brown package on the porch. No return address. Before walking away, he glanced at the old TV visible through the window. It was still on. And through the static, for just a second, he thought he saw a man and woman sitting side by side on the couch, both staring straight at him. Then the screen went dark. The end.